Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Choda with Ignition Time, and in this video I'm going to give you a timeline, a specific and a relatively new timeline that we've started to get from states about the distribution of the $300 a week unemployment benefits. It seems like we're not going to be seeing that money anytime soon. In fact, for most states, the earliest you can expect the $300 unemployment benefits is August 29. That's where things stand right now. Some new information has come to light about how quickly states are actually implementing these extensions. And Arizona, for example, is one of the states where individuals have already started to receive the unemployment benefits. But most states, the actual date when they'll receive the $300 a week unemployment benefits is getting pushed back consistently. There have been shifting timelines on this. In fact, a couple of weeks ago when the president signed an executive order, he said it'll be relatively quickly. I remember the US Treasury Secretary saying it'll be almost immediate, and I had actually covered that in all of the news reports. And as and when more information started coming out, the US Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said within the next week or two, we think most states will be able to execute. So based on that timeline that he mentioned, the anticipated timeline was right around August 17th or August the 24th. As you know, we're already well past the 17th date at the time I'm recording this video. And only Arizona was the only one who actually began paying out benefits this week. Now since then, what's been happening is FEMA has been getting these applications from multiple states. At the time I'm recording this video, more than 10 states applications have been received and processed and approved by FEMA. And there are right around 10 states who've actually submitted applications. So different states are actually approving this at different rates. And this was a statement from FEMA. The Department of Labor estimates an average of 3 weeks as states and territories adjust their systems concurrently with FEMA's review process. So when they issued this statement, which was the 8th of August, that 3 weeks would then end on the 29th of August. But basically, this was a statement from Senator Ron Wyden from Oregon. He said President Trump said workers would receive benefits quickly, but they will wait a month longer. Bills will pile up. Families will go hungry, falling further behind on rent and unable to afford their medicines. So even though the executive order said, hey, it will be quick, it's basically not happening quick because different states are processing this differently. And FEMA did say that at least one state has estimated it will have all payments retroactive to August 1st in less than 1 week with the grant. Now, presumably they were referring to Arizona because as far as all the other states are concerned, we still have to wait and see how states process it. Now, again, why is it taking so long to distribute these funds? Representative Don Beyer from Virginia noted that the president's order forces states to build an entirely new unemployment benefit system from scratch. They are not allowed to use their current federally funded resources to process it. So basically, FEMA's FAQ identified the need to meet these new program requirements, including eligibility, and they said that this could impact the delivery on the timeline for states to actually deliver those funds. And basically, a lot of people aren't happy about that, and that's where things stand right now. Now, retroactive benefits will help partially, but according to Trump's memo, the unemployment benefits, the retroactive benefits will go back to August 1st. So technically you should be getting retroactive benefits. But again, this depends on how your state actually interprets all of these things. So the bottom line is this. This is what Senator Wyden said. President Trump said said that workers would receive benefits through the end of the year, but only 3 weeks of benefits were provided up front. If after 3 weeks FEMA determines it needs the money to respond to a disaster, for example, nearly 30 million unemployed Americans are simply going to be out of luck. So basically the funding is actually guaranteed for 3 weeks, and after 3 weeks, basically there's no more guarantee of funding. In other words, after 3 weeks, the states may not actually get any more money. That's where things stand right now. So the bottom line is this. We cannot count on the extra $300 a week in unemployment benefits anytime soon. It will likely be weeks, most likely a month or two before unemployed workers can actually start to see these benefits. And at the moment I'm recording this, 11 states have been approved to offer the aid. 8 others have applied, and that number continues to change constantly. And Arizona has started paying out the benefits, like I said. So basically where things stand right now is that different states are processing all of this at different rates, and unemployed workers basically have to wait for states to apply and be approved for the $300 a week federal subsidy, which comes on top of existing state benefits. And the latest information I'm noticing here is that 19 states have applied. 11 of them have gotten federal approval to offer 3 weeks of aid, and that's about $2.4 billion. Arizona, I already mentioned, and other approved states include Colorado, Idaho, Iowa, Louisiana, Maryland, Missouri, Montana, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Utah. They suggested that unemployed workers may have to wait because even though these states are in the process, they said that unemployed workers would have to wait. Utah, for example, expects to start paying unemployment benefits within 4 weeks, according to Bethany Hyatt, who's a spokesperson for the Utah Department of Workforce Services. Colorado expects to start paying benefits in the middle of September. Yep, you heard that right. Middle of September. Indiana, which has applied for the assistance, plans to start dispersing funds in about 3 to 4 weeks, according to the state's unemployment website. In Alaska, the timing is even longer, guys. In Alaska, it's about 6 to 8 weeks from application approval. Kathy Munoz, who's the Deputy Commissioner of the state's Department of Labor and Workforce Development, said in an email a couple of days ago. So, the state did submit its application on Wednesday, and Bill McCamley, who is the Cabinet Secretary for New Mexico's Department of Workforce Solutions, said, I quote, "This stuff generally doesn't happen at the flip of a light switch. There are a lot of moving parts here," he said, "and it'll take us a few weeks to get it up and running." Now, hopefully, there's some legislation. Hopefully, Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the administration see eye to eye, and there's actual legislation for this. But what we are seeing are basically the side effects of a workaround, if you will. Even though the president had an executive order and created the Lost Wages Assistance Program, regardless of what you think about it, whether you think it was well-intentioned or whether you think it was a political maneuver, that doesn't matter. What matters is that the states are not able to distribute the money as fast as possible to its residents, because that is the bottom line. The bottom line is, are those who need the money getting it? That is the bottom line. So basically, it's all over the map. Just keep in mind the $300 weekly federal unemployment is not technically, federal unemployment extension, because it's not going through Congress. It's a new federal program with rules and regulations pertaining to the Lost Wages Assistance Program that each state has to essentially decode. So this is different from the state's current framework and current architecture. And basically, unemployed workers were supposed to get $100 in state benefits with $300 federal boost through the DRF fund. And then later the federal government came in and said, hey, the state does not need to match. The state's existing state unemployment system can be considered as a match. So it is indeed all over the map. And states will depend on there are a lot of complexities as far as states' unemployment rules go, as far as local technology, local state infrastructure is concerned. And some states could take 1 or 2 weeks, some states could take 6 to 8 weeks to actually implement this. So the federal government has indeed offered IT assistance. So I do want to give the federal government credit for trying to pull this off, because that is true, they are trying. But the fact is, each state has its own inconsistencies, has its own complexities, has its own complications when it comes to the execution of something like this. So that is the bottom line. States are only guaranteed about 3 weeks of funding, and this program could run out of money immediately. These are the words of Ernie Tedeschi, who's an economist at Evercore. He said we could be right back to square one. We could be right back to square one with this whole issue in early September. Gosh, what a mess. Thank you for watching, everyone. My name is Dr. Nitin Choda with Ignition Time. I hope you learned something new from this video. If you did, please consider clicking the like button. Please click subscribe. Please enable notifications so you get an instant update going forward. If you don't know anything about me, you can check out my video on the introduction page of our channel. I've lived the American dream. I have the fortune, the honor, the privilege of living the American dream, and hopefully I can lead you forward as well. Once again, thank you so much for watching. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. If you do want to get alerts from us, get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000. That's 70,000 70000, and you'll get added to our alerts list, and you can opt out at any time. You can also get added to our email list, and you can opt out at any time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode of Ignition Time.